Today I'm off to see 3 Pictish stones in Highland Perthshire, 2 of which are difficult to access without prior permission. Loyr is a small village on the banks of the River Tay. It once had a small, thriving Christian community back in Pictish times, resulting in a couple of really beautiful, high status, quality Pictish stones. Loyr Church kindly gave us access to the building so we could see the stone that's housed within the church. I'd like to thank them for the kindness and hospitality. Hi, welcome to Travels in Pictland, and here we are today. It's the middle of March and I'm in a church in a place called Loyr in Perthshire, and we've come to see 2 stones today, one of which is housed in the church, and we had to make special arrangements to come in and have a look at this stone. So here we are, we'll have a little look at Loyr too. Anyway, nice to see you, glad to see you've come along. And don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe. Okay, I'll catch you in a bit. And this stone dates from round about the mid, about, I don't know, 850s, something like that, 9th century. At the top, just to have a talk you through, it's got a pair of dolphins, which we can barely see it now. That's the tail of the dolphin. Here's the body of the dolphin. So there's another one here. Then we've got the top of the cross, and then we've got the 4 bosses here, and they're in the arms of the cross. So the arms of the cross are coming out here. So you can see you've got your cross. And then we've got carved interlacing down both sides, and something going on in the central panel which is no longer visible, which is a bit of a shame. The banging that you hear isn't someone upstairs complaining about the noise, it's a guy fixing the roof, by the way. He's going to get his moment of fame if we get hold of him. While we're in the church, we've noticed that there's an ancient baptismal font hiding over here in the corner. This probably dates back to really early Christian times in Scotland or in Pictland, and this could be back to the 6th, 7th century, and it was used for baptising children. And possibly anointing adults and stuff like that. But as you can see, it's just a carved basin. And there's a good few of these around in old churches in Scotland. I don't know if they've ever been catalogued or anything like that, but just a little bit of extra for you here. So there you go, an ancient baptismal font. And never mind the guy still banging on the roof. He's going to be getting this baptismal font if he's not careful. Anyway, see you later. Hi, well, it's a lovely afternoon here in it's the middle of March in Pictland, and this is Loyr number 1 stone, and you can see it looks very like the stone within the church with the 4 bosses on the arms of the cross. I suspect it may have come from the same carver. And again, they've got a cross here, going down here, and we've got some kind of design which is worn away down the sides, and a central boss which possibly had a spiral or something like that on it. Hard to tell. It's in a real sad state, but it's actually been a really high status, high quality stone in its day. Probably dates to the latter days of Pictland. No overt Pictish symbols on board, but when you look at the other side, there are Pictish symbols. So who knows, it maybe dates back a little bit further than I think. Anyway, let's have a look at the back. So here we are. We've got the rear of the loyr stone, and as you can see, we've got a horseman with quite fancy horse trappings going on here, and he's got a fringed blanket on his horse as well, which you can probably just about make out. And down at the bottom we've got a serpent and a rod. Now that's quite unusual in Pictland. Normally you get a serpent and a Z rod, but I can only think of a couple of examples where you've got a serpent and a straight rod. So it's obviously a different meaning to the other symbol with the Z. Anyway, it's a fine example. It's a real shame it's been broken, like so many other Pictish stones. Maybe one day it really needs to be covered up before it deteriorates any further. Anyway, thanks. So, on these Pictish trips, quite often we're looking at Pictish stuff and we're right next to other historic things which you as a viewer who are not in Pictland might like to see. So I thought these things here are also in the same graveyard in the church area where we're looking at the Pictish stones. So these things are called mort safes, and they date back to about the 1820s, 1830s, when the surgeons in Edinburgh needed bodies to learn about anatomy. And unfortunately there was no legal way of getting bodies, so they used to employ body snatchers to come and dig up fresh corpses and take them to Edinburgh for examination. To stop that happening, people started to put these metal cages over their graves called mort safes, and these were to deter the body snatchers from stealing the bodies. So remember these mort safes. You've seen them on Travels in Pictland. See you later. The A9 trunk road is arguably Britain's most dangerous road. The stretch of road between Perth and Inverness has claimed over 300 lives since 1979. It's a bit of a killer. You have to be really careful coming up here. Struin Church belongs to the Clan Donaghy Society, who kindly loaned us the key for access. Struin Church was originally dedicated to St. Fillan and stands on an earlier Christian site. There's also an important clan burial site. This church was built on the original site in 1826, and it lies at the confluence of the River Garry and the Erechdy water. It's a beautiful sight. You must come and see it if you have a chance. Well, here we are in Struin Church. Again, we had to get special permission to go and get a key, and we're the only people here, so we've basically got the place to ourselves. Struin Church is in the middle of nowhere. Anyway, this is a very ancient fragment of Pictish stone. It's a class 1 stone. It only has Pictish design, no Christian designs on it. And if we have a wee look at it, we have a classic Z rod and a double disc, and it's really finely done. It's absolutely beautifully carved. This has been out of the weather from somewhere. It's been kept somewhere inside and kept safe, and we're really fortunate to be able to see it today. So here we are, the Struin Class 1 stone in its glory. I hope you've enjoyed watching Travels in Pictland. It's a special hello to all of you who've subscribed recently, and also a thumbs up and hi to those of you who've been watching for a while. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe, and I'll see you later.